So what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix Bumblebee. Yes, Bumblebee, the extremely rare, odd-to-find figure that turns into a Volkswagen Beetle. Because for the first time in, like, almost 2 decades, a rare Bumblebee happened. This guy was rare and kind of hard to find, and I'm not mistaken, he's kind of expensive on the secondary market. And I got really lucky. On Christmas Eve 2 years ago, I went into Walmart, and there he was, chilling. I almost bought and packed her. Boy, that would have been a bad decision. And this is for once and also a long time, a remold of Cliff Jumper. Wow. Now that's crazy. He comes with Cliff Jumper's same accessories, which is his gun, which is not just one gun, but 2 guns. It has a stand on it, and then you can combine them. I like to do just the 2 guns and the stand, like the bipod. It also has this rocket launcher thing to make a rocket launcher. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the rocket launcher, if you want the truth. It's just there to make up for his size, because you can probably tell, yeah, this guy's a deluxe class. He's not Legends, like, say, that Shrapnel or that Acid Storm back there. I'll just fish him out, because he's from the newer lines. This deluxe Shadow Panther from literally Kingdom, and yeah, he's about the size of a Legends guy from a few years ago, but deluxe priced. But he does have accessories and actually does have a pretty good transformation, and he's pretty bulky. He makes up for the price, I'll tell you that right now. Another kind of accessory he has, and it's kind of a slight issue to me, is parts forming. Yes, parts forming became a thing in War for Cybertron. This shield thing, which is literally just the rear of the Beetle form, which doesn't tab into his arm very well. Does not slot in. Ta-da! Slots into his right arm pretty well, though. So it kind of uses like a buckler or something. Just pegs into his back right there. And once you... second. Ooh. Peg that in. There we go. There's the Autobot logo on his foot and not his chest, which really is weird to me. I feel like it should be on his foot. It's not. It's kind of strange. Put these off to the side. Now, taking a look at him, he is pretty good looking, all things considered. I mean, the removable backpack kind of helps him a lot because it doesn't look bad in any way, and it's not like it's a big backpack. I expect Bumblebee to have a backpack at this point. His feet are the little Volkswagen Beetle front shoes, and this is an actual Volkswagen Beetle, like, sponsored thing. I forget where it is on the figure. I think it's on the wheels, maybe, which we'll get to. Is it on the wheels? It's somewhere on them. You can see the Volkswagen logo. So this is a genuine Volkswagen Beetle, which is crazy, because they would not give that up for years. He's just mostly yellow and black plastic. There's a bit of paint, like right here, translucent. They painted that yellow. It's a bit of a scuff. Right there. Bit of a scuff, not too annoying. Also, because he's in the War for Cybertron Netflix line, he also doesn't have battle damage, thankfully. They scrapped that idea after Siege, because some of them look bad. Hound didn't, Sideswipe doesn't. Mirage really doesn't either. There's a few that don't. Mostly deluxes, but the Voyagers look terrible with it. Except Megatron. I actually like Megatrons. Soundwave did, though. But yeah, that's be in robot mode mostly, so let's just get to the articulation. Ball joint in the head, so you can do pretty much anything you want him to do with the head. Outward, forward, back, elbow, swivel, and hand swivel as well. So there's that. A waist swivel, forward and back, knee joint. His swivel is like Hound's, where it's kind of blocked going inward, but outward it works. And a insanely good spread. Yep, he can do that. He's an articulate little fella for what he does. Now, one thing I'm going to point out about this little black piece here, which I don't use, like I said, I primarily use just this as his weapon. This actually pegs on. if you don't want to use it, there's a peg right here that it can peg onto like his shoulder per se, but I usually peg it onto his hip. I was going to say you have it on backwards, I know, but I like to think of it as like a baton or something, and it like flips out and he grabs it like that type of thing. That's what I like to think of it as anyway. That's just me though. You can think of it however you want. So let's get into the transformation for Bumblebee. So to transform Bumblebee, first thing I'm going to do is come to the back of the figure and remove the shield section. Kind of forgot to mention this. Yeah, the peg here on mine is really tight. I mean, really tight. I had to, like, shave it down, like, the black area that goes on, like, the inside of the translucent plastic to make it, like, work. Still a bit of friction, but it comes out way easier than it did. There's not really a grip point to it. You gotta, like, get your nail in there. Like, break my nail trying to get it out. But not anymore. I shaved it down, so now it comes out pretty easily. Continue the transformation. Bumblebee, flip his arms like that, and then rotate him around. Like so. They actually painted the entire inner crotch section, which is weird. Like they painted areas you don't see. And then with the legs rotate, come to the chest, open it up, and flip out this section, which covers over the face. Take his arms, fold them backwards, like so. There we go. You can then take the car and flip it down like so. Make sure that these get pegged in properly. Come to the feet, undo the doors on the back. There's the Volkswagen logo on the hubcaps. You can then take his legs, or his arms first. Actually, take his arms first, put them back. They just kind of peg in like so back there. Take his legs, fold the feet forward. Once the feet are folded forward, you take the wheels and flip them out. 2 figures straight where the wheels flip. Usually a rare transformation step, but on 2 toys in a row, both have a wheel thing. And there is his Beetle Mode, which looks it's just perfection. It is literal perfection. The paint is, of course, immaculate. They're not going to mess with no paint on this thing because it's already a smaller toy. So the budget has to go somewhere, right? Tail lights, the bumper's painted back here. Got a little bit of red on it. I think that's intentional. I hope. It looks like it is. Rubbery plastic. Headlights, obviously. Wish they had painted some more. Volkswagen logo right there. It's painted. Door handles painted. Windshield wipers are painted. Hubs are obviously painted. Underneath, that's what it looks like. It looks pretty aight. And Cliffjumper had a gimmick with all of his weapons. And what are these weapon gimmicks? Well, you can disassemble the whole thing here. And then take the black thing just to get it out of the way. So basically, you take the black thing and you peg it into these little ports here. Take these little black pegs. They go into these little holes on the back of the shield section. And they just kind of peg in. That's what they do. And you take his guns, and there's a slot there and a tab there. And they peg onto the bottom. Do the same for both sides. And then the skis, there's a port right there, and then a tab there on the skis. And they cover over the wheels to form that on. A cliff jumper thing. It's meant for cliff jumper, but all the parts are there, so you can do it with Bumblebee if you care to. There's also another battle mode you can pull off with Bumblebee here, which is not as cool in my opinion. It's basically reassemble the big launcher thing I'm gonna do, which isn't that hard, so just reassemble it. And then put it like that. A bit droopy in the back. So, well, you're going to come to the back here, and you're going to want to rotate these around. Now, you do need the peg that goes into the back for this. Like so, and then you take that, and that goes on the peg. There's grooves on it. The peg has grooves built in for it. And then you can get the tank beetle, the tank beetle. I don't know what you really want to call this, but yeah, you can do it. Looks kind of ridiculous, but you can do it if you want. I mean, it's cool, and I mean, yeah, that's my thoughts on. Let's get my thoughts on this bumblebee. So, bumblebee it's damn near the perfect bumblebee you can ask for. It's probably even better than the most recent Masterpiece one. I don't know if it's better than the original Masterpiece. The original Masterpiece is a bit weird proportionally. Kind of like a lot of the earlier Masterpieces are. The newer ones are very cartoon accurate. But this one is like the perfect bumblebee in a way. You know? He just kind of does everything you want him to do. He even turns into a beetle. And he's a mainline toy. Even though he's a bit rare, he is a mainline toy. And, oh yeah, one thing I gotta mention about the wheels, transforming them back, they're do-pegging to the doors. So, you gotta make sure they are lined up properly. So, Bumblebee himself, I mean, this figure's great. And honestly, for a rating, I'm giving him a 4.5. He's not quite perfect, because the parts forming is a bit iffy. I will not lie to you. I'm not the biggest fan of the fact that he's parts forming. I just dropped that shield twice now, but you know what? That's fine. It looks great. It feels great. It moves great. Alt mode's great. Robot mode's great. So what holds it back? That little bit of parts forming. That's just what I don't want to give him a perfect rating because he doesn't fully transform. He cheats. He does cheat. The transformation is good for what is a transformation. But the fact that the whole rare section is a severed piece, it's cheating. It is cheating, and it is parts forming. It's the only thing that doesn't get him a 5 out of 5. Is he gets a 4.5 because of that. He is damn near perfect, though, and I would recommend him to anyone. Anyone. If you do ever see him, buy him, especially. Well, depending on his price. I wouldn't spend like $100 on him, which is apparently what he goes for, which is kind of crazy. At the time, I thought like 30 was crazy. That's Canadian. I live in Canada. So I thought like 30 Canadian was a lot of money for him. Boy, do I regret that now, because now they're 40. I paid 40 for skids, and this was 30. But yeah, 4.5 out of 5. I mean, he's perfect. If you find him, get him. This has been Eilt, Elite, whatever you want to call me, signing out.